So Ricardo's not joining us then?
Sound check, thumbs up or thumbs down.
Up.
All right, here we go. Hello, I'm George Middleton, your host this evening on this podcast episode of Black Space Live. The topic of our discussion today is women make rules for beta males, but break rules for alpha males. That's what we will discuss and get to the bottom of. But before we get started, I want to take this opportunity to encourage the watchers and listeners to like, subscribe, and share. In other words, don't be selfish with this content. Share the love. So before we get into the heat and meat of this discussion, I want to introduce the panels, the ring contenders, the strong personalities and wise intellectuals that we're going to have this experience with. So starting with Miss Sam, please tell the listening audience and the watchers anything you feel they should know about you.
Hey guys, I'm Sam. I'm 42 from LA, living in Miami, a nutritionist and a natural builder, property manager, and all that. And it's great to be here with you.
Janelle.
Hey guys, my name is Janelle. I'm an Augusta entrepreneur and excited to be here.
And Penny.
I am Lamar Finley, affectionately known as Penny. I'm a pilot cadet here in beautiful Orlando. I'm also an entrepreneur. I run a small business, former lobbyist. For over 13 years, I was in politics. Ooh. I managed to get most of the mud off of me. But yeah, also happy to be here.
Well, welcome to all three of you excellent panelists. I know I want to warn the watchers and viewers to buckle in because Penny's the pilot and it's going to be a hell of a ride. All right, so right off the bat, what does that topic title, how does that topic title hit you on a gut level? When I say gut level, I want you to get out of your cerebralness and politically correctness and just on a first hearing, first viewing gut level, how does that assertion that women break rules, make rules for betas, but break rules for alphas? We'll start with Sam.
My first thought was, where's the middle ground? I had to categorize everyone who I've ever known who was an alpha or a beta, and then it turned out that there's a lot of men in the middle. There's a lot of gammas out there. I don't know what you call them. There needs to be another name for the guys who are right in the middle. They're not what the general population thinks of when you think of an alpha male, or when you think of a beta. A lot of people think like super strong or super weak, but there's a lot of guys who are in the middle.
So where are the guys in the middle?
And what rules? What rules are we talking about? Are we talking about standards, or are we talking about rules? Like, there's a difference because, well, we'll get into it.
Standards or rules. So there's a difference between standards and rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's good. That's good. We're gonna have to really get into that. All right, Janelle.
Kenny, I'm sorry. All I can think about is Gerald Levert. It's written all over your face. You don't have to say a word. Sorry.
Janelle it's Penny with the P.
I say Kenny.
You keep calling me Kenny, yeah.
I'm thinking Kenny G. Okay. Well, George, to answer I'm sorry, I have a cold. I probably had COVID like 16 times in the past 3 days. But so I would say, the first thing that I thought about was, like you guys are saying, are there rules, are there standards here? I mean, is there a middle ground? Because you look at an alpha male and you look at the beta male, but then you also look at, a man who, like Sam said, in between, and for me personally, I feel like, the man in between is the one that kind of works for me, because I don't like someone too dominant, and I don't want someone, who's subservient. So that's, my take on that. So
You don't want someone too subservient or too dominant.
right, yeah.
Someone who can compromise.
Mm-hmm.
Too subservient or too dominant. Penny, where are you on this?
I think I think this message should be the title of how women date. So they say they're attracted to the alpha, right? Those are the guys that get the victories. Alpha men win in the dating market. These are the women these are the guys that most women want, right? I don't speak in absolute, so I'll say most. Most women want the alpha guy, right? But they want him to have the beta qualities, right? But the men with beta qualities don't win. The more masculine you are, the more successful you are. So when Sam says there's a balance, there's guys in the middle. Trust me, if you could measure it out in percentages, right? Percentage alpha, percentage beta, the guy with 51% alpha male qualities wins more than the guy with 51% beta male qualities. And when I hear that, that's pretty much how they date. Huh?
Is it that he wins more, or is it that the alpha is always the one getting the shine, so it seems like he wins more?
No, he wins more. The alpha he attracts more.
Okay.
He attracts more women. He has more options. And he could decide to step out of the game when he wants to. The beta guy takes the first opportunity that he gets, and he steps out when he can. But the alpha guy has the options.
Okay, so let's set the foundational template here. Round robin, beginning with Sam. What is an alpha male?
A very strong, masculine man who men want to be like him. Men want to be like him, or they want to be him. He's the guy who's the loudest with the jokes. He's the guy who is charismatic, not only to women, but also to men. There's an appeal there. It's I consider alpha kind of like a Donald Trump, someone who can really, like, other guys see him and want to be him, and women see him and want to lay with him, kind of thing. Not here, but I'm saying, like, that type can be seen all over the place. Like Penny said, it seems like they're winning all the time.
Okay. Janelle, what is an alpha male?
Thank you. I would say someone that is strong, confident, concise in their thinking and their mannerism. Somebody that's smooth, has charm. So that's my take on that. Yeah.
Okay, Penny, and your definition of alpha male. Go ahead.
I think Sam hit it spot on, and I think her example is also spot on. Donald Trump would be considered an alpha male, and it kind of goes to the title, right? Women break rules for alpha men. They say they would expound on that and say we want a guy who is, God-fearing and moral. And Donald Trump, when it comes to the morality piece, ain't none of those things, but yet he has an appeal with men and women. He's been in 3 marriages. Ivanka not Ivanka, his current wife, I can't think of her name. This is terrible. But his current wife knew all the stuff about Melania, knew all the things about Donald, didn't care, because he is that dude. He is that, and I'm not saying this in terms of that dude to me. I'm just saying this is his perception. He is that alpha guy that women want, they want to be with, in spite of all of his failures, in spite of the bad things that he does. They literally break the rules when it comes to alpha men. They'll push all those things aside for that guy as future.
All right, so everybody agrees that the alpha male is strong, masculine. Women want to be with him, and men want to be like him.
Overly strong.
Overly strong.
Yeah.
Overly strong. All right, so now the next question for everybody is, what is winning as it refers or pertains to the alpha male versus the beta? What is the definition of winning?
We need to start with Penny on that one.
Let's start with Penny.
So winning is winning in both the dating marketplace, winning at life, winning at work. So alphas get promoted more often, they make more money, right? Because they're assertive, they know what they want, they go for it, right? And they're alpha men are the type of men that say, you know what, I want that, I'm gonna go get it, and it's gonna be mine, and they do it. That works in the workplace, and it works with women. Women, alpha men that have a certain stature in the crowd are going to draw everyone's attention. That person command attention. And women may say, the movies have done a good job of illustrating this fact. Oh, he's terrible, I would never date, oh my God. And then at the end of the movie, she's making out with and marrying the alpha guy. She leaves with the alpha guy. We see it all the time. Alphas win at life. Betas don't win. Because
you said it perfectly. In the movies,
in reality, they win too. Alpha men win in life. Betas
would you
don't
consider
win
yourself an alpha or beta?
I am an alpha male.
Can't tell.
I've done pretty well in life, and I've done pretty well in my career. So I would consider myself being an alpha guy. I go for what I want, and I used to have a little bit more beta in me. A little bit more, I would say, but I've kind of learned that I got a lesson that if I'm going to be successful in life, weak men don't do well in this world. Not because the world is tough. It's a tough place.
I love what you just said, because that's going to lead into the next point I make.
Go ahead.
It's about growth, so for this topic, right, talking about making rules and whatnot. When we're younger, as women at least, you're young, you're insecure, you don't know exactly where you stand or where you fall. You hear an idea like, make a guy that you're really into, make a guy, you want this guy to be your boyfriend, don't sleep with them right off the bat. Make them wait so you can get to know them, they can get to know you. That sounds like a wonderful idea. And so then as women, we get these men who are totally into us and, like the Steve Urkels of our life, who we're not necessarily that attracted to, but he's really into us. And this guy would be so good for you. And then you hear an idea at like 19, 20 years old, like make him wait, whatever, if this is a guy you could really be with. Then you go out and you see like that dude who you are like, whoa, like the attraction is carnal. Like, wow, that dude. And then he sees you across the room. Now y'all dancing over. Oh, now you meet each other. And all of a sudden that same rule or that same idea that you just heard that you thought was a really great idea. Like if you want to be with this guy, wait 30 days. But this dude you just saw, you're so attracted to him. It's like kismet. You're gonna end up with him like that night, 20, 30 minutes later, it's not gonna matter. But what you just said, that took growth. It takes growth to get there. It takes a little bit of experience because, of course, the first time I heard that, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But then you find yourself breaking that rule. It wasn't about whether he was an alpha or a beta.
Yes, it was.
It was
that
about
alpha. It was that alpha that you were attracted to. That alpha. You weren't even going to look Steve Urkel's way because he's a beta. He's the nice guy. The alpha guy won. He won. Yes,
always
he did.
The finest guy won. The finest. If I have a Carnal,
it's not always the finest. It's not always the finest because Lil Wayne ain't the finest dude on the earth.
No, and Lil
Wayne
got
money, so that's different.
Lil Wayne, even after he had money, never had a shot. Like I would not sleep with him. I would not see him in the club.
He didn't have a shot with Sam, but he had a shot with a lot of women, just like Jay-Z. Jay-Z got Beyonce because he's an alpha guy. Alpha men win. It ain't about looks. Alpha is not about looks. Looks is the woman's thing. The reason that women fail, in my opinion, is because y'all focus too much on looks and you eliminate a lot of guys because you want him to be just as good looking as you are. It's not how it works. But when y'all are happy you're happy with that alpha guy because you feel protected and provided for. But the alpha males win. I'm telling you.
Are you kidding me?
Okay.
The protectors and the providers are the Steve Urkels. They're the ones who end up coming out on top.
Let me interject.
Sorry.
So we have the, and that's fine, Sam. Don't even apologize. This is good. You're doing an excellent job, as well as Penny. I think Penny has met his equal. So anyway, Penny has established the criteria for winning from the male side. Sam, what is your criteria for winning as it pertains to alpha male from the female side?
Okay, that's kind of a loaded question. Okay, so alpha male, if we're going by like the definition, like what Penny gave, the guy who's winning all the time, I think that we recognize the people who are the biggest, the boldest, and the loudest, right? So when they're like, oh, somebody was outraged because this person online said this, right? Like we're giving a voice to the loudest person. They're going to get heard. So I feel like alphas are seen more, but the Steve Urkels of the world, the betas, I think that they win more. I think that they foster.
Okay. But let me make sure I'm hearing you correctly. As it pertains to the alpha, and now that you kind of included the beta, what is your definition of winning?
Happiness. Happiness along with successfulness. Like in terms of with women, like getting that love of your life, being happy in the situation that you're in. Not always striving for more, not already having 40 million in the bank and wanting 40 more.
Gotcha. Okay. I like that. Okay.
That's winning.
All right. Awesome. Janelle.
I would say winning, like as far as like from an alpha male's perspective, you're saying?
Well,
like as alpha male is winning?
No, not from the alpha.
Oh, from a woman's
male,
perspective.
From your perspective of the alpha male, what is winning to you?
Oh, gotcha. I would say someone who has a trophy. I mean, alpha men, like as we know, they're dominant. They want to conquer. They want to succeed. They're going to want to have the trophy wife. They're going to be wanting to make six figures and beyond. They're going to want the big house, the big cars. So, not just material things, but they want to be surrounded with the finest and the best. And they're probably only going to be very selective in the type of women that they choose as well. So, yeah.
Okay. So Sam hit on something that I think really brings the primary significance to this conversation as it pertains to alphas and betas. So here's my next question, and then we'll jump into the diatribe on it. For the women, which man makes the better lifelong partner, the alpha or the beta?
Janelle.
I would say the beta because like Sam was saying earlier, they're the protectors. They're the ones you feel safe with. One, not everybody wants them, right? They're home every night. They're not out on the scene trying to be seen. They're not out, blazing the trail. They're, you could feel more confident that they're going to take care of you. And that's just based on experience. However, you do want somebody who can grab you by the back of the head and be like, girl, sit down, and a beta male isn't going to do that because he doesn't want to rock the boat. So it's kind of like we said earlier, you kind of want that in between. So why can't we talk about some in between?
Okay.
A beta or something. I don't know.
All right. Sam, do you concur?
Absolutely, 100%. Like everything she just said.
All right. So y'all left a big gaping hole for Penny just to drive a big
He's gonna go.
747 right down the pipe. Go get him, Penny. Go get
Well,
him.
I'm gonna tell you this, Penny. When I was young, like I use that Steve Urkel for a reason. My mother always would say when we were watching that show, she'd say, "You get yourself a man like that. Not only is he going to be successful in life, but he's going to love you. Make sure that they love you to death. Like they got to love you more before you love them, because women give 100%, you know?" So I always had that kind of ingrained. Like those guys are going to be the good guys. And they're the faithful guys. They're the guys who were faithful from in their 20s. Anyway, go ahead.
You know, those guys are faithful because they don't have options, right? But you know what's
That's what I
funny?
said earlier.
Women will say, "I want the beta guy. I want the guy to hold my hair when he's washing my hair. I want the guy to put his jacket down when there's a puddle." You say that, but your actions and the numbers say you want the alpha driven jerk. That's what the numbers say. The women want that guy. So there is a ton of dating sites do this. They do this. They break down the stats, right? They break down the stats, right? And they talk about not just dating sites, but there's a lot of studies about what is that? The 80-20 rule, George. 80% of the women go for 20% of the men. You all say, yeah, after you've dealt with the alpha jerks in your youth, right? In your youth, you deal with the alpha jerks because he has all the women around him. And Janelle pointed to this in the conversation. You know, you deal with the alpha jerks in your youth and you figure out that, well, this guy has all these women around him and I don't feel like dealing with that. And so you then figure it out and slow it down, you know, maybe. But all women still want the alpha guy. They still want the alpha guy. They want the alpha. They say they want the beta, but they want the alpha guy. That's why he has all the most options. That's why alpha men have all the options.
Okay, so before I take us to a deeper component of this conversation, DJ J.A., I can't pronounce his last name, it's very unique, Millwedge, I think. Here are his comments. Betas don't win. They never get who they want. They always end up with who they can get. In addition, he says, oh no, that was that. He said, he repeated on his next passage, but at the end he says, what they get are the leftovers. Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Cold-blooded.
Right.
So as you marinate in DJ A. Millwedge's wisdom here.
That's not wisdom.
I believe it was Janelle that said something pretty interesting, it's challenging. Janelle said that she doesn't want a man who's too subservient or too dominant. Now, I understand where it comes from. As a man, I I'm a therapist. That's what I do. All right. So I understand the psychology behind that. But as a man, which I am first, that's a pretty challenging standard or objective. Let me say objective. That's a pretty challenging objective to try to accomplish. Because
Are you an alpha?
I don't categorize myself. First of all, I let other people's perceptions take the day on that, right? And I don't feel the need that I have to put myself in a category. I'll know how I'm perceived.
What I hear you saying is that you're not going to be subject to those like rules, like you're not.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
A label is not something that I'm going to be particular to. It's, so I'm a man. And one thing about a man is, at least from my rule, the first man law is men don't require permission for others to be men.
Amen to
Yep.
that.
So there's a cliche a lot of people like to use, and they use it towards women. They say, "Women, let a man be a man."
Mhm.
There's a problem with that to me.
Yes.
I don't need you to let me be a man.
No.
Being a man, means this to me. I may love you, but I know good and well that I'm going to piss you off a few times. That's just part of the cake. Ain't because I don't love you, but sometimes I'm gonna make you angry because I do love you.
The people who you love and who are the closest to you are the people who will piss you off the most.
Right.
And
Right.
that's always the case. So of course that goes hand in hand with just living in a house with someone.
That's just part of the deal. So, so for me, labels kind of get in the way. You know, they can be advantageous and they can be disadvantageous. You live by the sword or you die by the sword you live by. So anyway, I didn't mean to get personal on my thing. However, as it pertains to this finding the balance between subserviency and dominance, how best, and I'm going to put this in Penny's area first. Penny, do you find yourself trying to tightrope that line of subserviency and dominance?
So younger me, yes. Older me, no. Because at the end of the day, when the crap hits I always use because it's just a great metaphor for, well, it's a great metaphor for marriage, but it's also a great metaphor for relationships. I always use the captain analogy, right? The captain of the plane, there's a first officer. They both are in charge of flying that plane, right? And but the buck stops with the captain, right? You don't want a captain that is kind of like, so what do you think, first officer? Yeah, I know we're losing altitude at a rate of 5,000 feet per minute, but what do you think? Do you think we should should we go through the checklist now, or should we check on the passengers? No, you want a captain that's going to say, you know what, my controls, I got this. I'm going to take it over. I'm going to save the day. I'm going to do what I got to do, right? And women, as a whole, respect that man. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of funny, George. You say you don't, and I respect you for this because I want to be like George in many respects. But you don't give yourself the title, but many would title you as an alpha guy because you are a man's man. You are a man that makes his own decisions. You know your own path. You choose your own path. You don't let a lot of people sway you off your path because you're making your own path. And women respect that. They don't respect men that waffle. They say they want a balance. They want to balance until crap hits the fan, until times get rough. But here's the reality. Life is rough. Being in a marriage is hard. Living in this country is hard. Living in this world is hard. So they want a man that's going to be able to provide shelter from that storm. That is life. And those are the men they respect. They don't respect the sometimey man. They don't. The more sometimey he is, the less they respect him. I know they say they want that. That's what
You're
they
muted,
say.
Sam.
That's not what they actually say.
You're muted, Sam.
Sorry,
What
guys.
did you say? What did you say there, Sam?
No, I was just sorry. I was commenting on one of the things he said. Like, yeah, I'm sorry. It was direct response.
She was cussing.
That's
With the mute button on.
That's why I kept it on mute, so I
This
couldn't
mofo.
interrupt it. Because I know myself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's kind of get into the down and dirty with the alpha male. Let's really explore this for a minute, because alpha males are what movies and music and stories are made of. They're exciting people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as Penny said, they're charismatic and they draw you to them, and they're like the lovable scoundrels, so to speak, right? And we've had the women here both pretty much agree that in terms of preference for long-term relationships, they even though they want the alpha male, they don't value the alpha male as it pertains to a long-term relationship. So,
and that's what I was saying to him before. There's what he described also describes gamma, like they know what they want. They're living by their own rules, their own life, but they're not necessarily an alpha.
So gamma. So that's the middle that you propose?
I propose we go all the way to G and make it a gamma,
Go,
because
girl.
there's a lot of men in between an alpha and a beta
All
who are willing
right.
to compromise with women like me and Chanel. I
All
don't even
right.
know her yet, but I know she's on this level. Like, we need a
Okay.
man who's not too strong or too weak.
Oh, the gamma. Okay, well, let's table that. We're going to come back to that. That's good. However, let's really explore the alpha. So, ladies, and I want y'all to get real with it. I mean, give us beta guys.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Beta guys.
Tell the truth.
And Sam had alluded to it early. It's carnal when you meet that hot guy across the room and he's looking at you and you're looking at him. There's an unspoken language. So go deeper, ladies. What is the thought process that makes you want that alpha male? And then how do you at some point gravitate away from the alpha male to go for the long-term relationship guy? So what is it about this alpha male? Give us some specifics.
I personally like someone who's charismatic. You know, that draws me in across the room to someone who literally can undress you with their eyes, right?
Mm.
And then
Mm.
they send
Betas
you
do
over a
that too.
drink.
Sam feeling
Betas
that.
do that too.
They send you
Yes,
over the
they
drink.
do.
Betas undress you with their eyes too. You just can't see them.
No, we do see them. We do see them.
They
As
send
long
you
as
over the
they're
drink.
attractive, Penny, we see them.
Then you find out, you know, a couple months down the line, once you give it to them, they don't go downtown. They don't want to sexually please you.
Oh.
They're too pretty. They're too cute.
Oh.
They're too busy being an alpha male. They don't want to be romantic. They don't want to, you know, rub their tongue up your thigh. Like all that little stuff that betas
sounds
will
like
do.
that
They will
movie,
take
What
their
Women
time
Want.
and fine tooth comb you to make you feel like you're having an outer body experience.
Deep.
That's what a beta man will do. The alpha, they too cute for all that.
You're saying that the alpha male won't go downtown because it is not masculine enough for him. It's not masculine for him to go downtown. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what it is, but in my single years, I did notice that it was something that, you know, I got pushback on from those particular type of male. And I'm like, well, why? Are you too good?
I always find that those were just young and more inexperienced guys. They hadn't found that woman, just like for us women, like they hadn't found
older
girl
men too.
who they were willing to.
I don't think that
do
has
that
to do if you can do alpha or beta either. I think that is a product of, because that's not alpha or beta.
Well, I'm just saying based on my
agree.
experience. So
Yeah.
we can turn it which way we want, but I'm just saying based on my experience.
Yeah.
So,
Get you.
but it usually was
Well-
the dominant men who, you know, claim, you know, they can lure you in, yeah, but when they get you, it's like they don't want to lay out the red carpet. You know what I mean?
My mother,
Not all of them,
explained
some of
that.
them.
My mom told me a long time ago. She said the really super fine men. This was an alpha beta. She said the super fine men that she had been with, which was only a few, she felt that they just hadn't been taught anything because they were so fine and so many women
They didn't have to work. They didn't have to do much.
That no one had, like, they hadn't been in a long enough relationship to learn a woman's body, or they just were, nothing was ever required of them, you know? So it's a hit it and quit it kind of situation. Like, you fine as hell, but the last time.
But the inverted piece of that is, you know, as a man who's dating, the same thing with the gorgeous women that just kind of lay there. Same thing. They never had to put any work in. They're always, men are always bending over backwards trying to please them. So I think that's more of a factor of that looks piece. Looks have nothing to do with that.
You just brought me to the next point.
Well, but I'm saying you can be an alpha guy and be ugly is what I'm saying. Looks and alpha beta don't have. You can have an attractive beta guy and or an ugly alpha guy. So it's not about looks in terms of alpha beta.
Yeah, but
clearly Donald Trump is not a handsome guy.
You are so right, Penny. I so agree with you on that.
Yeah, but where do you find a ugly dude that's like not confident? Like, you know what I mean? So
where do you find an ugly dude who's not confident?
Yeah. So okay. So we're saying
ugly men that aren't confident.
So we're saying that there could be alpha men who aren't nice looking men, right?
Right.
But how
Yeah,
are they
for
alpha?
sure.
How are they dominant? You have to be
So
confident with who you are and the way you look, right?
right, but that men can be that without being attractive. Jay-Z
Without being
is an
attractive.
alpha guy. Right.
Attractive.
Jay-Z. You wouldn't consider Jay-Z to be, you wouldn't look at Morris Chestnut and Jay-Z and say, oh yeah, they're the same. You wouldn't do that, right? You'd say
No.
Morris Chestnut looks better than Jay-Z, right? You would
Way
rank
better.
them right. So, but it's Jay-Z's, as women say, it's his
Confidence,
the younger, it's his
swagger.
swag.
Oh, his
It's his
money makes
swagger.
him look good. I mean,
Well, it's the swag. It's the
the
swag that
the
comes with
swagger,
having
right?
yeah,
millions in the
he does
bank.
got swag.
Right, but even
You
before
don't?
that, there are ugly guys
Yeah,
that
he
are
does. I
still
think he
able to
does.
Oh,
pull
okay.
attractive women because of their confidence. It ain't always
Yes.
the money. It's the mouthpiece. It's their confidence. It's
Yes.
their stature, and
Yes.
that's what women are attracted to. That's why you'll see the ugly chick in college or the pretty chick in college. Wonder how did he get her? It was his confidence. Y'all say it all the time. It's
So
his
Yeah.
confidence.
so
It is his
Jay-Z.
confidence,
So
but it doesn't have to be him.
Go ahead, finish that out, Sam.
No, I was just saying, yeah, I agree with him. It is his confidence. Confidence 100% comes with being an alpha. But that does not necessarily mean that like nerdy guy who found like the hot girl. I knew plenty of hot girls who only dated ugly guys, but you are very correct in the fact that they were alpha ugly men. And they don't know they ugly. They don't
No,
know,
you
but
can't
they
tell
got
them that.
some ducats
They don't
and they
care.
know how to take care of a woman, because when you're ugly, you learn really early that when a girl is leaving, you're like, hey, you got gas money, girl. Here you go. You got lunch money. Here you go. Like when you ugly,
No,
you learn
ugly
early
men aren't
how to treat a
ugly men
woman.
ugly men aren't dishing out either.
No, I'm not saying dishing out. I'm just saying they know how to treat a woman. You have to know how to treat a woman in order to not only get her, but keep her around. You not only have to have the charisma. If you're ugly, you probably got jokes, charisma. You get her in the room, you keep her in the room, and you probably offer something.
But you're proving my point that women are attracted to alpha men. They don't want the beta guy. They don't
No,
want
we
the
just
beta
want
guy
you
that's
to
a good
have.
listener.
We just want you to have one of those characteristics that grabs our attention and keeps us around. You might not be the best looking guy. You might not be the most athletic guy. You might not be like you might not have a lot of the attributes. But if you can make us laugh, dude, that's huge. That's huge. And you might not be an alpha male. You can just make me laugh. And like my first husband. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say those attributes don't make him a good husband. Doesn't make him a good boyfriend.
No.
But it proves my point. Those men win. Those men have more options. The beta guy that can't do those things, so he doesn't have those options.
Isn't that when they're younger though? Isn't that in the beginning? Aren't we talking about like when you're under 25?
It doesn't change. It doesn't. So the only reason in my opinion that women change their flashlight is because they've dealt with so many alphas, right? That didn't want anything long term because that's what they're attracted to. Then after getting bopped upside the head by so many alpha guys, then it's like, wait, maybe I need to rethink this whole thing.
Okay, so let me interject here because we're getting some good feedback on the chat. And DJ, thanks for the correction. I was messing his last name up, and he said, George, it's just DJ. Because I was messing up. But another contributor here, the great. Why are these guys coming in with these really challenging names today?
I've seen that one.
IKPES?
The great IKPES, or that might be L. I'm not sure. I'm sure he'll correct it. But he makes a really interesting observation here. So you mentioned Jay-Z, and Jay-Z got in a little riff there a few years ago on the elevator for his alpha male behavior.
Right.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Which falls into the assertions of the ladies here with regard to safety versus attraction. Okay, but here's the thing: the alpha males are these, masculine guys, strong guys, virile, charismatic. But the great LKPES says they're insecure. That Jay-Z is insecure.
that Puff Daddy is insecure. That yes, a
Jay,
lot
they're,
of
they're not
Donald,
insecure.
Donald
uh,
Trump.
Yeah, a
Donald
lot of
oh
Trump.
my
dominant men
God,
are
they're
Donald
insecure.
so
Trump.
freaking
So let's
insecure.
Insecure
let's
about
talk
what?
about that.
Insecure
I
No,
about
mean,
what?
there's a lot of things to
oh,
be insecure about.
I
Like
feel
what?
like
A lot of times people try to be self-validated, they try to validate themselves, and that's insecurity. You know, when you have to
He
prove yourself to
self-validated. Proof. This man built himself. He made himself into a billionaire from nothing.
that's what I love about the way that especially my Black men see other men who have made it in this world. Like you like, oh, he doesn't have these things. Like he doesn't have that about him. But let me tell you, as someone who spent my college years in Miami traveling with many of the people or being around a lot of people that like we look up to or that we see in the industry who have really made it, who have padded bank accounts and all of that, like seriously, a lot of those issues that you think that they don't deal with, they absolutely 100% deal with.
And that's speculation. We're projecting. We don't know that for a fact. What would he be insecure
No,
about?
I'm not talking. No, I'm not saying that you know for a fact for any particular person, but I'm saying as one of my many theses that I have put into like just noticing things over the years. I have so many theses, and they could all be a topic on this podcast. But as one of those things that I've just been observing over the years of life and being around people who seem like that alpha guy who has it all together and he can get any woman he wants and he has this wonderful beautiful house, multiple properties, he has like everything, and he's that dude, and you would think that this guy did not have any of those
But
qualms
we
or
but
insecurities,
we can
but
we
they
can
do.
speculate. We can speculate that, right? So let's now we make the alpha guy insecure. Doesn't change the facts that he wins.
No, we're just saying that there's a few insecurities, of course.
Yeah,
Like we're just
yeah.
saying that they
I
still
mean,
suffer from
Because
the
you can't
same
have it all and just,
insecurities.
okay.
So
know.
let's
So
break
you can have everything.
let's break it down. Let's break it down. Let's break it down. Isn't it possible that the alpha male postures himself to be larger, to make others believe that he's larger because he's masking a frailty? Isn't that at all possible?
100.
Yeah, that would be
mean,
insecurities,
it-
covering up your
I
insecurities.
mean, it's possible. Anything's possible, but it doesn't change the fact that even if he's masking, well, so let's run with this theory, right? So he's masking for his insecurities, but that masking has amassed him wealth. It has amassed him the feminine attention that he seeks. It has amassed him the financial success that he seeks. It still doesn't change the fact that that's like saying Michael Jordan's performance on the court was masking for his insecurities. Doesn't change
Okay.
the 6 championships.
It
Doesn't
does
change his
not.
dominance
It
in the
does
game.
not. But
Mhm.
remember what we said at the beginning when George asked me what I considered success, and what I said was happiness,
Mhm.
right?
And
So
happiness
what
is
you
temporary.
say
It's temperamental.
about the success and having all these things, like trust me, I have been around people who had all those things and killed themselves. I've been
Okay,
around
and poor
people
people kill
who were like,
themselves.
but I'm saying like because okay, so for me, the definition of you like being successful in that, whatever, whether you're alpha or a beta, if you have amassed all these things, you have a beautiful family, you have lots of money, you have the nice houses and the properties and all that, and you're still really truly unhappy with all that money and all the medication that you can afford, and you're still unhappy, you have not succeeded. If you're
But
still
happiness,
insecurities, you've not
happiness
succeeded.
is so what's the word I'm looking for? It's so oh my goodness grievances. It's happiness is not you can be happy 1 minute and 5 minutes later you're not happy. Right?
Yeah, but
Happiness
there is
such
a
low
general
bar.
overall.
It's-
Okay, it's like what I would ask a guy who was married, who's like, yeah, I'm happy with my wife. I say, what percentage are you happy? If a guy says 90% happy with his wife, that's for a girl 100% happy, because there's always going to be like, pick up your underwear and all that type of thing. So for a man, they say, I'm 90% happy. That's 100% happy for us. So of course it's a scale. It's a sliding scale for different people. But yeah, if you're on JC level and you're still unhappy with your life and still seeking validation and still seeking things, like she said, masking your insecurities, then have
But
you
I think
really
we're
succeeded?
I think we're still speculating and we're projecting, right?
So let's
Yeah.
so let's go
Well,
ahead, Janelle.
Okay.
to her point, to Sam's point, I mean, if you think about the highly successful people, the Barack Obamas, the Michael Jordans, there's a lot of bumps and bruises that people have to go to reach those levels in life, right?
No
And
doubt.
what we don't think about is what that does to their mental, you know, having to truck through the mud and putting in the blood, sweat, and tears. Like when you make it to the top, are people really happy? Are you
I don't
still
I don't I
projected
don't
as this
care.
person who everyone should like bow down to? Because in their eyes, they don't, you don't know how they're affected. They could be depressed.
Janelle,
Um,
Right.
you don't
Exactly,
know.
Janelle,
Exactly.
I'm an NFL quarterback, right? Right? I want to win the Super Bowl. That's all I want to do is win the Super Bowl, right? We're talking about victories here, right? And so there are 29 other teams and 29 other quarterbacks that want that same goal. It's a 17 game season. There's playoffs. I don't care. Yeah, I'm gonna pull some ligaments. I'm gonna get some bumps and bruises along the way. That's a part of the journey. It's not worth it if it's
Right, but
not
I'm talking about what does
hard,
that do
right?
to your mental? What
Doesn't
does it
care.
do
Yeah.
I
to
don't
your
care about
mental?
that. That makes me mental.
That's what we're
The
talking
fact that
about.
I gotta get it out of the mud and work hard to get it makes it worthwhile. Now, I'm not saying it comes without price.
Honey,
Anything that
exactly, Penny. There's a difference between not
but
caring about where it takes
but here's
you and then
but what
being in that
but
space
this
of where it took you. Now
but
all of a
listen,
sudden you have everything you
Sam,
always wanted
this
and you
is
want to put a bullet in your brain. Like that's not
listen.
I mean,
happiness, that's
American.
not
No, that's
success.
not. No. I don't think that's how men operate. I don't think men are that. I mean, come on. If men were that weak, the world
That
wouldn't be
weak.
the world that we have. If men
Says
were
the
that weak, we wouldn't have
alpha.
the world that we have.
Says the
I'm
alpha
saying
who's happy and has everything he
And the
wants.
world is
A lot
falling
of
apart,
money
by
and
the
has
way.
all the women in your
because
city.
we're a gynocracy.
A
Because we've
dynocracy.
because we've gotten away from rules and structure. It's all about feelings, and we've gotten away from rules and structure. Instead of having rules and structure, it's all about feelings now. We used
Let's
to
talk
be
about
a
that.
world of structure, right? But I'm saying men care about winning. Men
Okay.
care about winning. At the end of the day, a man will stay in his marriage to his wife because at the end of the day, he wants his end of life to be better than the beginning, and he wants his kids to have a legacy. And so he will
I
So
stay.
believe that.
But
I
I would
100% believe you.
I would
But-
challenge that paradigm there for a minute though.
And you know what? That is
Well-
ego. And the moment that you don't stroke a man's ego is the moment they fall apart. Okay.
well,
Let's
okay,
get that.
fine. But I'm talking. But I'm saying that. But the fact that it's all about happiness, right? Women will get bored in a relationship because they're not happy. The man can be a great provider. He can be a great protector, but I'm not happy because I'm bored.
You know
and not
why?
happy. I want out.
Because men don't become emotionally available. That's why women become unhappy.
Y'all don't want
Right.
the
That
emotionally
has
available
nothing
guy.
to
Y'all
do
want
with
the.
all the shit
But
that
y'all,
you're doing.
No,
It's just
but
like with a kid. You
y'all
can
don't
provide
stay
him
with the emotionally
everything.
available guy. You stay with the protector and the provider. That's who you go after.
and
Women
they're
go after
emotionally
that guy.
available. They're emotionally available people.
Well,
And
statistics,
they go downtown too.
statistically speaking,
Most men go downtown.
statistically speaking,
That's a whole nother show.
if you look at marriage statistics, women do marry the guy they feel is going to be the
Safe
safety, and protector,
all day.
and that tends to fall in the area of the beta. So on a level of statistics, when it's all said and done, research says that most women will gravitate in terms of a long-term relationship to the beta male. But I
100%.
wanted to get back to this aspect of potential insecurity. So for example, I'll share with you a story. Very simple. Back in my college days, there's a buddy of mine. I'm going to change the name so that it doesn't.
Of course.
But he called himself Big Nate, and Big Nate had a big, very white voice.
Okay.
And Big Nate would walk around the dorm floors, always holding his Johnson.
Did he have a bbig Johnson as well as a big voice?
And Big Nate would talk about man, this and that, and I got this one, and I got to hold my stuff because he's always bringing attention to the fact that he's Big Nate.
Right.
And he would introduce himself as Big Nate.
Is that an alpha? Was he an alpha to you?
While he's holding his, well, those are alpha behaviors.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And later on, as the relationship developed and we're all getting to know each other, a lady friend of mine who really loved Big Nate, because Big Nate was a very good marketer. He marketed himself expertly. And she loved Big Nate. Loved Big Nate.
I love the name. He sound cool. You need to bring him on the podcast.
Big Nate was a cool brother. Is a cool brother. Until she got Big Nate.
Right.
And when she got Big Nate, we found out that Big Nate wasn't really Big Nate.
He was a scammer.
So that's a really simple. That's a really simple analogy of sometimes, and maybe a lot of times, the person is always drawing attention to themselves, always boasting about their accomplishments, always talking about how much money they've got in the bank.
Insecurity.
The wealth that I've made on this latest deal. Oh, I know this person. Oh, I know that person.
That's insecurity right there.
But betas do that too, though. Beta men brag, and you know what I'm saying. That's an arrogance. That's not.
They're more transparent.
Here's what I want to add to that. So I was just talking about this earlier, right? So when I was younger, and you go to club, you see that dude, kismet, you hook up, and it was great because the attraction was there. The sex might have been good, but now you wake up the next day, so now you're together. Now you get to go out and see how this person is in real life, right? So once I go out with you and you're like that alpha who's like, I didn't order fries. I told you to bring me extra avocado. Like, dead serious. Been through it. I'm not messing with you no more. So that dude can still say, oh, I bagged that. Yeah, you bagged it, but you could never keep it. You could never stay around because you're an asshole. You are the type of dude, like you are so not anywhere near my vibe, near my personality. Yeah, I made the mistake of hitting that one time because I wanted to, but you are not someone who I would ever have in my life, in my circumstance, in my aura. Like some of those dudes will bring you all the way down. And we recognize that. And even if it was just to hit it and quit it, we recognize that the same way men recognize that.
Yeah, and going back to look, so if I'm going to date an alpha, he better be fine. I'm going to tell you why. Because when a man is fine, you can overlook a couple things,
For sure.
A lot of them are jerks. We get that, but we might overlook it. But I'm not dating no average or unattractive alpha, because the minute they say or do anything wrong, you're gonna look at, well, you ain't cute anyway. What am I doing?
So, girl,
that goes back. But y'all, that's what I said. Y'all break the rules.
That was so true, girl.
It is true. It is true.
But it goes to the title of the show. Y'all break the rules for the alpha that y'all set for the beta.
Penny.
But I'm talking about an alpha who is attractive and an alpha who is unattractive. I'll break the rules for the attractive alpha man and not the unattractive alpha.
They break the rules for the unattractive ones too.
So here's what I found, Penny. When I really thought about this, I found that it's not about breaking rules for alpha or for beta. That was never a consideration.
Mm-hmm.
What was considered was he was hot or he wasn't. Was there an animalistic attraction? That animalistic attraction will break every rule. Like as a woman, dead serious, we could be in a happy ass relationship. Happy, 2 kids, husband for 5 years, happy. If we see that motherfucker, and just like a man, Time
go.
and opportunity is all we need. It'll happen like one time, like we gonna hit it. Like dead serious. It has nothing to do with being an alpha or being a beta. If you find, you find. If we
You get
met,
away
we
with
met.
things.
No matter what the circumstances, if we're both down to make it happen, we're down to make it happen. That doesn't mean I want to be with you forever. That just means like,
Okay.
Yeah, and this is a little superficial for me, but I even thought in my in my 20s that I would date somebody fine. I might let him cheat on me 1 or 2 times. Oh well, he's fine. You know, okay, anybody. I mean, he chose me.
that's
Okay.
But he,
serious.
he can cheat. It's okay.
Do
All right,
you remember
transition.
back when Clinton
Break the
scandal
rules.
But the
happened?
Let them
ugly
break the
dude?
rules.
No.
Let them
The
break
girl.
the rules.
But do you
That
remember back
actually,
when the
that's it.
Clinton scandal happened, girl? And there was this article
Yeah.
that came out in the 90s, right? And it was
Mhm.
basically, it was the first thing I had seen that
Yeah.
correlated 3 things, right? So if you have money, power, fame, those things, like, and pussy is another
Alpha.
thing. And there's a trifecta. So if
Alpha.
you have money and power, if you have money and fame, if you have power and fame, however you put those together, the
Mhm.
third thing is gonna be getting P.
Yes.
Okay. So
Which is alpha.
which is alpha.
No.
It absolutely, you know what? You're right. That is alpha.
So
But
that
it's
so
a
that
thing.
means
It's
so
a
that
thing.
means
It's out there, but that's for younger women because once we become
Older too.
no,
Older
I'm
too.
gonna tell you, like seriously, like before the person who I'm with now, who's my fiance, I was with someone who had multiple millions in the bank. But guess what? I couldn't stand that motherfucker. Like, how you didn't see that puppy on the side of the road? Like all kinds of little things, right? Like
Mhm.
I was like, this is not gonna last for a long time because this isn't the kind of personality or the kind of awareness, the kind of being, the kind of spiritual human
Yeah, the
being
cockiness that
that
comes
I
with
want
it
to
And I
just
be.
doesn't
said-
move
It
women
had
like
nothing.
it used to
and I
do.
said
care what
earlier,
house,
and I
how much
said,
you had in the bank.
and I said earlier that yes, after you've been with enough alphas that have popped you upside the head, I'm speaking metaphorically, yes, you will calm down later in life and then decide, okay, maybe that's not the route.
Okay, so
But
here's what I'm saying.
with
I've been like this
respect.
since little. But
No,
once you get to
no,
know a
no,
man, no, it's
no.
all about getting to know a guy because of course we're gonna go for you in the
But you're
club because you're
attracted.
the alpha. You're like
Right.
looking good, you got
Right.
the
In
you're
your-
doing
in
everything.
your-
So we're gonna
listen,
go with
at
you.
the-
But once we
at
get
your
to
peak-
know you
Listen,
Yeah,
and
which
you're a
is
you are-
30, 90 days.
listen, when you
we're
are,
leaving you by the side of the road.
when you are at your finest of fine, right? And you can draw any guy you want, any man you want. You're attracted to the alpha, and it takes a couple knocks upside the head with that guy before you decide this ain't for me. But the reality is, even though George said that betas tend to, make better husbands, and I would contend that maybe alphas decide because they have options. You know what? Maybe I need to turn it down a little bit to get that one that I want long term.
okay. So transition.
Beta don't have those options.
Transition. You all started getting into a point that DJ brought up, and DJ says money can get you any woman you want. What women
At
that
first.
don't? What woman? He says, what woman that don't want a man without money? So that when I read that, it made me think of this question, which is probably self-evident. Can an alpha male? Can you be an alpha and be broke?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Not a young man, yes. A
Absolutely
grown man, no.
100%.
Because you got some alpha men out here who are sugar, who depends on women to take care of them. I know some.
Oh, yo,
Well, you got a
you
point.
just
What do they call
reminded me
it?
of
A
like
sugar
4 of
daddy
my
or something?
friends. That's
You got a point.
crazy. Yes.
And they're older dudes too.
They're
But-
alphas. They be in the
but
gym.
hold
They
on.
be at them bodybuilding contests, and they got nothing but sugar
But-
mamas. I
but
swear to
hold
God, I
on.
have.
And they live in
Listen.
their mom's basement.
But hold on, let's make sure we're getting this clear.
Come on,
You
Not
know,
in the
we,
basement.
we may have to do a part.
Basement.
We may have to do a part 2 because we're getting ready to close out, and this topic is so deep.
What a fat ass.
However, earlier we described the attributes of an alpha male. Can you be an alpha male if you're depending on your woman?
Yes.
I wouldn't classify that guy as an alpha male.
As
But
long as nobody knows, I'm gonna say yes.
but we men know.
But behind every
Okay,
great
listen,
man is a good woman. So we all know
Penny,
that.
you're right, Penny. Yes, you're right, Penny. You're right.
Men know when their friends are full of trash. That's why men are better at vetting
Okay.
men than women are. Because
But you know what,
game
Penny, you're
recognize
right.
game.
Because like my man, like you guys know it inside of you. Like if you're an alpha and you know that your woman is bankrolling your life right now, you know that inside of you, and it doesn't make you feel good, right?
But you know what? You know why a lot of those guys are being bankrolled? It ain't just because they're alpha. What did Janelle say? Oh, he go downtown.
No,
They're sexual professionals.
no. That's not true. That's not true.
That's
I
very
swear to
true.
God, like I went from someone who had everything to someone who didn't. But guess what? He came in with. He came in with ability. He came in with love. He came in with all the time in the world. He came in with no children. So yeah.
The reason that these guys that are broke get with women is because they're sexual professionals. There's a comedian by the name of, you may have heard him, by the name of D.L. Hughley, who said it best. Or was it Chris Rock? He said, yes, that dude can blank better than I can. He ain't got nothing else to do.
Can I see a video, Penny? Can you send me a video? Can I see? Like, I want to know what they doing that's so great. Come on.
See a video of what?
It's not about sex, Penny. That's not what gets the man to be completely in a woman's life. Like, we got so many options.
When women are
bankrolling men, so much dick. We don't gotta rely on.
Okay, look. We are going to have to do a part 2 because this can go deep.
Do it.
And my boy,
I'm bringing my girl Tara on part 2.
Yeah, we need more because there is some gold.
She's from LA too, girl.
There's some gold in these hills right here on this topic, and I think a lot of that is impacting the way that the quality of our relationships today. So we really need to mine this deeper.
Absolutely.
Did we even stay on topic?
My guy, yeah, we did.
Okay,
all of it was really my guy, the great LKPES. I wish I knew how to pronounce that. He says, I've seen women be submissive to a man laying on a couch, playing a video game, no job, no income.
Whoa.
Exactly. So
one of the alphas.
So there's a lot to this issue, right? And I'm a therapist, and I'm in a lot of homes where I'm seeing this dynamic. Okay, so we got to wrap this up today. This has been awesome. I want to leave you guys with a question to give just a 30-second answer. A 30-second answer to. For today, for the state of our community as it pertains to our racial demographic, the racial demographic Black community, which man is needed the most and why?
When you say which, what do you mean? A
specific
person or the beta, alpha or the beta? Oh, okay, I got an answer for that.
So think of today. You know, we've got Trump probably going to take over the White House again in 2024. We've got half of the country that's trying to keep the other half of the country from teaching certain things, banning books, preventing abortions. I mean, we've got some really polarized issues going on.
Yeah.
So you know the old saying, when it's raining in white America, it's
flooding in Black America.
So for the state of our demographic today, this is Black space. Which male do we need today, and why? We'll start with Janelle.
I would say we need more betas because we need more protectors. We need more role models for our young children today. I mean, the generation now that are growing up, they're just all over the place. And I think it's because of the leadership that we have. A lot of the dominant figures are taking over, and the cockiness and the arrogance. And we just need people who are more protective and loving and caring and could be, you know, the forefront of the traditional family man.
I love that.
Awesome. Sam?
I kind of think we need more alphas. Like, I watched a show and it was talking about how, like, all of our great Black leaders have been taken from us. And when I thought about it, I was like, God dang, they're right. You know, Maria and Malcolm, like so many people who would be alive right now. And they were all alphas. And we
Right.
need great, and specifically talking about our community, right? We really need those great Black Haile Selassie like leaders right now. We need more Bob Mahlers. We need more of all these people who were killed or put on the FBI's most wanted list. They were all alphas, even the women. You know what I'm saying? I think if you're speaking specifically for Black community, we need way more alphas right now. We need some people to come out and be those internet TikTok superstars for the cause kind of thing. If we're speaking about Black, if we're speaking about what Black women need in partners to be
community,
more wed, to become
more community,
to create
there y'all go.
Family, then we need more betas. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there.
See.
Okay. Sam, you just presented a wrinkle in that proposed strategy, because you're separating community from relationships. So,
I am.
But we need to come back to that. Penny, what do you say?
I'm gonna leave Sam alone for today. We definitely need more alphas. Betas, when war breaks out, you don't want the betas. You don't send the betas to the front line. Whether we're talking about actual war or we're talking about the metaphorical war that we're in, the political war that we're in right now. We need alphas. We need men to stand up with their back straight and to take charge to win this thing. You know, King said you can only walk on a man's back when it's bent. You can't walk on a man's back when it's straight. And so that's what we need right now. And that's what we're missing in our community. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Yes, we have to turn down some of that macho when we're in, relationships and in marriages. I get that. I understand that.
Right.
But when we're talking about winning, and dominating and taking over, and we're talking about victories, you need alphas. You need alphas. You need men that are willing to step up, put their necks on the line, and go out and take no prisoners. Make a list and take names. That's what you need.
Those are the men who joined
like Hitler
stuff. That's not me, but yeah.
That sounds like Hitler to me.
But those are the strong men. He's right.
But I mean, he was evil. Hitler was evil, but he was a strong guy. He was evil.
Yeah.
He was a strong guy. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady's a great quarterback.
Well, you know what? Real quick.
Ooh, don't talk about Tom Brady. You could talk about Hitler. Don't talk about Tom Brady. No.
Real quick. Just give me like a minute and a half on this particular on the news today. I've been following the insurrection, January 6th commission, and one of the election officials a couple days back stated how he stated so emotionally, so convictedly,
the House Speaker from Arizona.
Yes, his distaste for the pressure that the administration put on him to redirect those votes, and that he felt that the Constitution was almost the most spiritual aspect of his principle.
I saw that too.
Right, he was so convincing to the point where you could see tears welling up in his eyes. I was personally, I was moved.
Was that the guy who said he would still vote for Trump?
This morning, he's on the news saying, I would still vote for.
That's the same guy. But I really did like his testimony. Like you said.
So the contradictory of the alpha male, right? Because clearly the former president is an alpha male. And he has all the indicators of lack of safety, lack of empathy, lack of care, but he's so charismatic and influential that once you get in his sphere, you're sucked up in that vortex, right?
Right.
And so there's a contradiction. And so as it pertains to our community, right, do we want alpha males with that lack or incongruency of principle and values.
No.
So something to think about. So I'm setting all this up because we got to come back. So Nate, you're going to have to bring this same panel back next week.
George, that was a whole nother topic. Like that's a whole
Yes.
nother 2-hour topic.
Yes, it's deep.
Absolutely.
And if it hadn't been for the great minds here, you challenged my thinking with the way that you're talking. And I mean, this is an important topic. It really is. So I want to end it with some of the wisdoms from the chat room. Tara Westcott says, we do need more alphas. DJ says, we definitely see more alphas.
We definitely do.
Someone said Penny sounds scared.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Whenever we have these conversations, I tend to be on the opposite end of the quote unquote popular opinion. So
he's not worried about that. But you know what? We'll give Penny a chance to when we come back next week. Tara, you make sure you show up because Penny's going to probably have something for you. The great LKPES says life is about balance. We need both. D. Okay. And DJ says, please bring me on the next show, please. So DJ, make sure you reach out to Black Space Live on the Facebook page. Get in there and make the connection with Nathaniel Bernardo. Did I say his last name right?
Yes. However you say it is
Bernardo.
right. You said every
Nathaniel
letter in
Bernardo.
there.
Isn't it French? Isn't Nate's name French?
Bernadette. As long as you say it like at the end, you're right.
Yes. So he's a smooth cat. He's a smooth cat. Nate is a smooth cat.
Sam, someone said you keep talking over everyone and cutting everyone off. She's so rude.
No. It's my first time, guys. I don't know.
You're good.
Sam has been excellent.
Yeah.
You've been an excellent addition.
I've enjoyed
you all
Sam.
have been excellent. So let's give just a round of appreciation to Sam, to Janelle, and to the great Penny. I'm George Middleton. This has been one hell of a discussion on Black Space Live, and we shall be back. And you all have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you on the other side.
Peace, love, and hair grease. And soul.